So to check the second approach for running this analysis that will automatically show you the pairwise comparison test, I'm going to head to Analyze, then I'll go to Independent Samples. So this box will open, okay? Here you need to go to the fields and then select the dependent variable into the test field. The teaching methods, which is the independent variable, so goes to the group, okay? And then you go to the settings and you click Customize Tests, and then you select the kruskal Wallis test here. If you want to perform the Mann-Whitney U test, you can use that. In this case, you have just 2 groups. But in this case, we have 4 groups. So we select this and then we run. And so this is the analysis result that you're going to see when you perform this analysis this way. But you can see the result here tells us hypothesis test summary. It tells us that the test is statistically significant, so it said reject the null hypothesis. You reject that because the significant level is less than 0.05. all right? So, but there is nothing else that you're seeing right now. So in this case, there are other steps we need to follow. So I will double click here, and that tells me that gives me an idea about the pairwise, about the independent samples kruskal Wallis test, and then gives us this dialog box, and then you can see that I've got some view outliers that is likely making the data not to be normally distributed, all right, or maybe failing the homogeneity of variance test. Now, what do I need to do to conduct the pairwise comparison test? I will have to click here and click the pairwise comparison test. So that gives you an idea about who and who, or which group and which group is actually performing well, that is giving us the statistically significant results, or where the differences are. Okay, so if you look at here, you can see that under the discussion and project-based approach, the sig value is less than 0.005. Okay, so this is why we have to reject the null hypothesis ab initio, right? Okay, but if you want, there's another way that you can provide, you can have a more, an easier result that you can quickly interpret. So to do that, then I'll go to Edit, I'll go to Outline, then I will change this model viewer. I'm going to change that to pivotal tables and charts. Okay, and then I'll click OK. Then I will rerun the analysis again. Then it will produce better results with all the comparison tests together. So I will go back to Analyze, non-parametric, independent samples, and then I will run again. So you can see that it provides us the non-parametric test, and then you can see we've got the independent samples kruskal Wallis test, and then the decision is to reject the null hypothesis. So I'm going to open this and paste the results here. Good. Then I'm going to copy this, paste, so you can see that this is exactly the same test that you've got here before now. You can see this is the same result you've got here. It's the same thing that we've got right now. Okay, and then I'm going to pick the other one if I want. Yeah, so you can see the independent samples kruskal Wallis test charts. So you can see we've got pretty large outliers under the blended group, and then under the discussion group, as well as the lecture groups. So these asterisks here shows us potential outliers in the data set, and this may be the reason why the test failed the normality and homogeneity of variances test, okay, or assumptions. And this is why we can't quickly use the one-way ANOVA, which is a parametric test, for this analysis. So if we go further, so you can see the pairwise comparison test. So you pick this again and then paste. The next one you need to pick, if you want, is the figure, so you can see where we have the significant result is the difference between the discussion and project based. So let's go back to that again. You can see between discussion and project based, this is where we've got the statistically significant result, and that is exactly what you are seeing here. But if you want, you can pick this, but this is not really important in the analysis. So what is more important is that we've got the result of hold on, let me expand this. So we've got the result of the ranks, so you can report the ranks, and then you report the test, and then the decision is here, and then you have the what we already have above, and then the independent the pairwise comparison test, which is this particular test right now. So let me pause the video and do a little discussion of the findings of the results, interpretation of the results, and write it out for you, so you too can pause your own video to read how I interpreted the results. So let me go through the interpretation once more, and you can actually pause this video to copy this or to screenshot this. This will give you an idea or a guide on how you can write out your own results of the kruskal Wallis test. So here it says that the kruskal Wallis test showed a statistically significant difference, that is, the p-value is less than 0.05, prompting post hoc pairwise comparisons. Okay, remember that I explained that if you do not find statistically significant result, there is no need for you to go on to do a post hoc pairwise comparison test. The analysis will just end there, and you will report what you found. This means that at least one teaching method resulted in a different level of student motivation compared to others. The kruskal Wallis test showed that students' academic motivation significantly differed across teaching methods. This is the result, that is, the H represents the kruskal Wallis. 3 is the degree of freedom. This is the total number of the participants. So let me show you that again. So you can see the 3, which is the degree of freedom, and into the N, which is the 243 persons that participated in the research, and then the kruskal Wallis, the H test, which is 8.021, and then statistically significant. So that is how I presented that result here. The post hoc pairwise comparisons revealed that the project-based learning group reported significantly higher motivation than the discussion group. Okay, and that is where we've got this p-value. If you look at this, you can see this is exactly where we are talking about here. So the project-based appear to have more level of motivation than or when compared to the discussion groups. Okay, and then there is no other significant difference among the groups. This indicates that students exposed to the project-based learning had significantly higher academic motivation than those taught through discussion method. Okay, all other pairwise were not statistically significant because there is no evidence that they differed significantly across the groups. So this is how you can perform the kruskal Wallis test in SPSS. I hope you find this video helpful. Please share and like this video, and then comment If you have any difficulty performing the analysis yourself, you can find a way to support you. Thank you so much for watching.